I want to talk to you today about grief and healing. This time last year, I lost my youngest sister, and it changed everything in our family, in myself, and I've been recently feeling the effects of all of the shifts and all of the changes that we went to together as a family. About a week after my sister's funeral, my parents contracted COVID and they passed away within days of each other. Recently, I've been noticing, and even in my dreams, things have been coming up that have alerted me to the fact that there's some things I need to heal in the individual relationships in my family, including my parents who have passed. So what a good friend of mine, Joe Crisanti, who is a hypnotherapist, I was confiding in him about my dreams and just how triggered I am and these emotional things that were coming up for me. And he offered to do a hypnotherapy session with me so I can go in to the past and to the relationships and the origins of these triggers, these emotional triggers, and how they've been coming up for me. Getting that understanding and getting that clarity of the origins of these emotional triggers was so useful. It was like so, like all of the emotional charge came out of it. And then at the end, he gave me a very special gift where I'm sitting in a chair and there's a chair in front of me and my sister Doreen comes and sits in the chair. And I wasn't expecting it. It was a beautiful surprise. And he guided me because there was so much emotion that came up and I felt her presence. And he said, "What do you have to say to her? Say with everything you have to say." And I did. Everything that I wanted to say before she passed and everything I've wanted to say since she's passed. So to have that opportunity. Then he said, "What does she have to say to you?" And it was really clear. She said, "None of this matters. None of this matters. It's not really important." It gave me a gift of peace. So I was in agreement. Yes, if you're right, it doesn't matter. Then it was time for her to go. And he said, ask her what are her signs that she's going to give so you know that she's around. And just in her voice, she just like shouted, she's like, "Anything green." Green is her favorite color, so I'm wearing green in honor of her right now. But she just loved everything green from the time she was a kid. Every greenhouse was like where her best friend lived. And that's a consistent with her. So anything green, and we're like, okay. I laughed at that. And then it was, okay, she needs to go. So she gets up to walk away. So in the last year or so of her life, she needed a walker. I mean, she couldn't walk on her own. And to see her get up, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, "There's no walker." And she started laughing. She's like, "Yeah, I don't need no walker." She's like, "I can dance." And she started like doing these little dances, and I was laughing because it was like so her. She was just being so goofy and silly, and like I'm crying and laughing at the same time. And then just said it is time for her to go. And I didn't want to let her go because just being in her energy. So I just stayed in her energy. the closest I could say was it was like we were hugging each other. And I was just so grateful for that gift, to be back in her energy and just being with her and her silliness and her love and her affection for me. And the next day at Thanksgiving, my daughter she said she had a gift for me. So I opened it and there was a change purse, a rather large change purse, and it's this beautiful green velvet. And I look at it and I just said, it's green. So my daughter said, yeah, I know, it reminds me of Aunt Doreen. And I just felt so much that it belonged to you, that you should have it. So that was going beyond, right, my hypnotherapy session and coming into my life, manifesting into the world. And it was just, again, such a beautiful gift. And the gift keeps going, because now that doorway has been opened, I get to play with her, or she gets to play with me. She has these little signs. There's like her nicknames, or like little things that she would say, or there was just so many. And anything that it's like, that's Doreen, then she's here and she's with us. She was very connected with me and my husband and our daughter and our grandchildren, and she celebrated us, and she still is. She still celebrates us. She would be so excited. She would like brag about us. You know, she's like, oh, you want yoga and meditation, you gotta go to my sister Jen. You wanna get your hair cut, you gotta go to my niece Tiffany. Like, that's how she would just celebrate. And because we lost her last year, just a few days before Christmas, I have, Christmas will never be the same. And I have compassion for anyone else who, with the maybe the forced merriment of the season, that it could make the losses that we've had be a little bit more challenging to bear. Just because they've crossed over doesn't mean that they're not a part of you. And for my little sister to be a part of me and the work that I do. So it was very clear to me, like, as I'm walking around with it, and I'm like, how am I going to use it? Because I didn't want to just, just put it in the closet or, something like that. So I wanted to make it useful and have it be a part of what I do. So I've decided, with, I believe, some inspiration from Doreen, to use this to hold my crystals. So this is a selenite crystal, and I have some angelic crystals that I use when I offer Reiki sessions. So this is like a travel bag for me. I do some sound healing with my Reiki sessions, but the crystals are an important part of it. I have it in the room to raise the vibration of the space. So it's so she will be a part of the work that I do. I also have a pendulum, and I believe she was with me when I got this. She was a very spiritual person, and she was very open to me spiritually. This is not the kind of thing that we grew up with. It was something that we were taught to fear. But she embraced it along with me, and like when I was starting on my spiritual journey, she was there, and she was so encouraging and loving with me. So that she'll be a part of the work that I do even like in this material, tangible way, is so meaningful. I feel like she reintroduced herself to me as one of my guides on my spiritual path, which is very, it's meaningful to me, and it's a full circle. I would say about 10 years ago, I received a reading where our Nana came through. She passed away in '97, and she came through. And once she came through, then I kept getting signs from her. And there wasn't many people that I could talk about that in my family, especially at that time. I'm much more open now, but I could talk to my mom a little bit about it because it was her mother that was coming through, and I could talk to her a little bit about it. But with Doreen, I just like opened the gates with her and told her all the signs and everything that was coming through. And she got so excited. Doreen was like she had like the archives of the family and all of the sentimental things. And she had some items of our Nana's that she wanted me to have. So after I told her the story about Nana coming through, she's like, Nana wants you to have this. So she uses my daughter to say, Doreen wanted you to have this. We're not left behind. It's such a beautiful gift that we're all connected. We can distract ourselves or try to turn it off, but it's there. It's there. We have so much support beyond what we can see. And what I'm understanding about our role now, especially my role now, is to like represent and to do the work that they're not embodied to do right now. They can support us and kind of be the wind behind us, the energy behind us that propels us forward, gives us the courage and the strength to move forward. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the support. I'm grateful for the work that I do. I'm grateful for the impact that it does. And it does change lives. I know because it's what I've been doing. I've been actively, deliberately, intentionally changing myself, shifting myself to the highest level that is available to me. I feel like that bar keeps rising. And for me to create that space, that safe and sacred space for people that resonate with me to be a part of that journey. So my invitation for you is to just check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, because I'll be intentionally creating more content like this. And if there's anything that you want specifically to be addressed, you can definitely reach out to me. I have all of my contact information in the description and on this channel. And if you're inclined to book a call with me, I do discovery calls just to listen and hear where you are and what you are looking for, and see how we may work together. I'm so grateful for you taking this time listening to my story, and I wish you many blessings. Namaste.